Hi everybody and welcome to my Unruly Housewife channel, and today I am going to show you how to make this cute Christmas ornament here, which you could hang on your Christmas tree or you could hang in a window or something, as I'm about to show you. I've made another one just to illustrate some colours. So I'm going to turn the light off now for a second because I want you to see what this looks like when the light is behind it. Isn't that cute? It's quite pretty on the back as well. And this one to show you the other colours. Some of these are a little bit, I've done the purple way too dark, there's way too much stuff in there. You'll want to experiment with it, but what I'm hoping is you'll learn some overall techniques and tips from this video that you can apply to any shape you want and make anything you want. Okay, let's begin, shall we? First of all, you need your clay, and I'm using Fimo white glitter. That's a Fimo Effects clay, and I have rolled it out already, so I'm going to swap this over. This I put through at number 2 on my pasta machine, and then I doubled it, so it's 2 layers of number 2. Next you will want to texture your clay. Nearly forgot. I am using coarse sandpaper to texture it. I mean, if you don't have to texture it, but I thought it would be fun to make it look sort of Christmas tree-ish. You know, it's glitter, and in a way maybe this is interfering with the look of the glitter. I don't know. Always experiment. That's the only way you're going to learn. I'm going to say today let's texture it because it's a demonstration if nothing else. Okay, here's my coarse sandpaper. Here's my clay. That's made a bit of a mess on there actually. You know, I've been really lucky with that piece of sandpaper, but it's clearly given up the ghost. Okay, here is our thing. I'm going to turn that over now. Here's our clay, and now we want to apply the template. I make a template out of squared paper. I like to make templates for everything that I do, really, I must admit. My fairy doors and things, and even though I make them out of paper, they seem to last forever, so I'm just really kind to them. I've also marked on here the centres of anything that I want to cut out of my clay. That's strobing a bit by the look of it, but there it is. I'm sorry about all this white, but we kind of need it today. And what I do then is, well, I'll cut this out first. Make sure you've got the sharp edge. And I'm using one of these thick brick-rack blades. If you're making small, like earrings or something, you could use one of the thinner ones. These are Fimo, I think, Statler Fimo ones. And I'm not going right up to the edge of the paper, I'm just going kind of near it. I'm using this as a guide. Press in the middle as well. I hope I'm not gabbling too much today, but I'm trying not to make this tutorial as long as War and Peace, if you know what I mean. I'm using a straight one for that. Now, remember we put crosses where we wanted the centre of our cutouts to be? Well, now I've got my needle tool, and what I do is I just go like that into the middle of each cross. Oops. The idea being that my cutouts will be in the correct places. Now, I know what I'm like, so they may not be. And if you look there, hopefully you'll be able to see those dots. Now, what I want to do now is to just get my shape to cut it out. Now, there are several things you can do. I've got this shape here, which is a heart. But if you don't have something like that, you might have one of these chunky kind of straws, art strawish kind of things. They would be good for cutting it out too. Even a normal plastic straw, you know, because not everyone has tiny cutters. So you can choose whatever kind of thing you want. I'll use my hearts. Hearts are a bit more fiddly because they have to be kind of upright, but well, we'll do it anyway. Now these will not be in exactly the right place, and you know, let's not cry. It doesn't matter. That one, for instance, I think is a little bit high up. Yeah, it is. I'm one of those people that's, I'm usually quite fussy, but I've had to train myself. I mean, people aren't putting these under electron microscopes and looking at them. There's only a small bit at the top there, so I'm going to use this. You know, these are Christmas decorations, for goodness sake. They're going on the tree, so they don't have to be perfect. And then at the top there, I want to make a little hole, and I could use any amount of different things. I made it quite small on that original one. I still managed to get a ribbon through it, but, you know, be generous with yourself and make your hole. And now I can just use my needle tool again, I think, to lift these cutouts away. And they've come out quite cleanly, which is nice. Whoops. Oh. Famous last words. Why did I say that? Why did I say they'd come out cleanly? Oh my lord. Yes, there you go. Tempting fate. Don't do it. So there are my little cutouts. And now I'm going to make sure that everything's how I want it to be. And then, hopefully my hands are clean enough, I'm going to flatten this down a little. I'm going to spoil my texture, but I want to flatten it down a little. Because obviously, if we're going to put liquid clay into these little holes, we're going to want it to be sealed at the bottom. Oh, gosh. Okay, now before I begin to show you how to apply the clay, and I've got a little trick for that, I'm going to put some of my alcohol ink onto the tile. And the reason I'm doing it now is because I want the alcohol to evaporate off from that before I begin to use it. Now, let's just trim this down. Here I have, and this is my trick, I have a normal plastic drinking straw, and what I'm going to do is cut it at an angle like that, and then cut the little point off a bit. Oops. Like that. Okay? So we've got this almost quill pen effect thing. And what's going to happen is when I think that's evaporated off quite a bit now. I'm never sure if this has to be completely dried out. Maybe, maybe not. When I mix my liquid Fimo with the alcohol ink, that is going to be the best tool that anyone could ever have, that plastic thing. Now, if you're using Sculpey clay, I'm using Fimo, but if you're using Sculpey, then TLS, translucent liquid Sculpey, would probably be fine. We just want to use a liquid clay. These cutouts are quite small, so we're not trying to make a window here. We're just trying to make a little light bit. I'm going to mix this in already, I think, just to crack on. The little things that we fill in there do get quite bubbly when they bake. They don't look bubbly first, but they get bubbly. And I've had a look around online to find out if there's a way to stop that happening. And some people say let it stand for a while, or quite a long while. But really, it doesn't seem like there's an awful lot you can do about it. And I'm not sure that it matters too much. It still looks pretty. Leave this as it is. And what you want to do is just scoop this up into the end of your straw. And I'm doing it right-handed, and I'm left-handed, so don't do that. Scoop that up into the end of your straw, just with that blade, and then take the straw and aim it into the middle of that hole. Hair again. It's a very windy day, and my studio is full of cat hair, so not ideal. Once it's baked, I can just whisk that off with a tiny little rub with the sanding. Some around this side. Do another one there. Watch what you're doing. If it goes over the edge, like that, look at that, perfectly demonstrated there by me. Honestly, this is value you get on this channel. If it goes over the edge, just a little baby wipe and just catch it up. Do it towards the rest of the liquid clay, if you can. It takes a bit of fiddling, but you can remove it. Again, if there's a tiny bit left, you could scratch that off once it's baked. And then this method, as I say, is usually pretty good because you can scrape all the liquid clay together and really get the best saving out of it. Now I'll put that back in there. Hope you can see. If I check whether you can see, then I take my eye off the ball and anything could happen. If as you pull it up, pull it straight up, not like I did just then. Or then. Now imagine if you think you have too much in there, which we don't really, but imagine if you did. You can use a toothpick. The wood is quite good. Now don't shove it in because that's going to displace more clay. But if you just hold that on the surface and wiggle it about a bit, the clay sort of sticks to it. Give it a twist and you can lift some of the clay out. And there we go. Now I'm not going to finish that now. But I hope you saw what I did there. And I won't tip it up too much because obviously you want to keep it straight. So there it is. This you will now put in the oven and you will bake it according to the manufacturer's instructions, and if you have an oven thermometer, that'll be perfect. Oh, and don't forget to make a little hole. We did make the hole in the top, didn't we? Yeah. So I have a paranoid fear of that. And we'll put that in the oven to bake. Oh, and also, well, if you've got a foil pan like this, you can pop it over the top, and that will help because you don't want this white clay to sort of catch and go a bit yellow in the heat. Doesn't always happen, but it can do. Now let me just grab this. Once you've done it all, you can paint with this with acrylic paint. I've got gold acrylic paint, but you can do any colour you like. Just paint that and, you know, go all the way around because the back's pretty, so you might as well finish it off. And then just do the top and, I don't know, pretend it's a little star. You could always, when you're doing this, before you bake it, you could always make some little dents and glue some little Swarovski crystal. I knew I'd find the word in a minute. Swarovski crystals in, stuff like that. There's loads you could do to make this even prettier. And of course, just hang it on a piece of ribbon or whatever you use to hang things with. And I think we've actually done it. Oh, and glaze. I used, before you add the ribbon, glaze. I used Americana Duraclear, but there are lots of things you can use. In America, I think use Varathane, I think it's called. If you look on somewhere like a website like the Blue Bottle Tree, there's excellent advice on varnishes there from my friend Ginger. If you are on Facebook, you might want to check out for a group called Hop Hooked on Polymer, and there are people there who will give you loads of advice and they're really kind to beginners. I think we've done it. Thank you very, very much for watching. Do let me know how you get on. Leave any questions below or any comments. Like, subscribe, do all those wonderful things that people do. And I love you all. Bye bye.